I just like the sound of it.
You are watching Green Links World Entertainment. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you will be tuned in when we go live.
Is it the wrong time? Yeah, 50, like, man, you know, your brokenness is hurting everybody. You wanna lash out on everybody else because your life was
different because I'm integrating spirit in the midst of a conversation.
Why do you think, Dr. Candace, so many people are hesitant? And I don't want to say so many people. Why do you think that people are hesitant to venture down this lane of healing? For some people.
And it's like now I'm not my best self because I'm burdened by everything that's going on around. It's like now it's like it's a sense of freedom when you really get to a point where it's like now you can really help them. Mm-hmm. Now you really moving. Now you really getting your stuff together by focusing on you and getting right and doing what everybody got a gift and got a purpose here on the planet. Like
I tell you 3 times like a trilogy. Eating up his word and give me energy. Tell the filthy devil get up off of me. Saying you gotta pay.
Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Okay, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about control and who's been controlling the media because a lot's been going on. I talked about it in the last episode of the Vet Green Show. So if you have not, make sure you check out the last episode that we did because I talked about how the way we consume media is going to be changing because it's going to be all under, just certain umbrellas. People are consolidating, people are selling things off. So let's talk about who's controlling the media, the music, and even what we watch and listen to, y'all, because right now, everything is shifting. We can see it. I was just reading a story where TikTok has now gotten into radio. Were y'all aware of that? Including podcasts. Like TikTok is now into radio. You can go on iHeart and you can listen to TikTok radio. I was just listening to it. And they are trying to do what needs to be done, honestly, because again, the way we consume media and the creators are a thing now. No longer do you have to go to the networks like ABC, NBC, CBS just to become somebody, just to become a mega superstar. You can blow up on TikTok, you can blow up on Facebook, you can blow up on Instagram. People are literally being able to feed themselves based on their creativity. If you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it. Right now, we have Paramount and Warner Brothers. The music comebacks like BTS, y'all. Listen, the Pussycat Dolls are coming back. The Devil Wears Prada is coming back. Number 2, that is one of my favorite movies. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about the global war tensions because we have to talk about it, and the future of content, including YouTube, streaming, and AI, because we're here. A year from now, it's going to look a lot different. 2 years from now, it's going to look a lot different. Are we going to pay attention and keep up, or are we just going to let what's happening in this world just go by us and then we're left behind? I don't want to be a part of the left behind crew. I want to be riding right along. I want to be coasting right along with it. Okay. So let's talk about this ongoing global tensions between the U.S., Iran, and in this war positioning. Now, I found on TikTok, there's the Daily Plug USA. And what I love about this person's content is that they, again, the way we're consuming information, we're literally getting news off of TikTok, and they have been able to consolidate pieces of information, news that's really going on into like these couple minute clips. So I'm going to go ahead and share one of mine. Let me just get myself off the stage and go ahead and share one of these because we need to be aware, y'all. We need to be aware of what's going on in this world. And I don't want to be one of the ones that's left behind. So let's get into it.
Here's everything that happened in America in the last 12 hours. A New Jersey woman, Laka Cordia, detained for over a year after pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University, has been released without any criminal charges filed. President Donald Trump questioned Gavin Newsom's fitness for office, citing his dyslexia and past SAT score, sparking backlash over comments on learning differences. President Donald Trump said he may postpone a planned visit to China to meet Xi Jinping, citing the ongoing Iran conflict. President Donald Trump suggested the United States could take control of Cuba in some form, arguing the country is weakened after decades of leadership. Top Democrats are urging the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem over alleged false statements made during congressional hearings. A senior U.S. Border Patrol official, Greg Bovino, announced retirement following fatal incidents tied to immigration enforcement operations in Minneapolis. Drone strikes targeted the U.S. Embassy Baghdad, with multiple impacts reported near the compound as regional tensions continue to escalate. A fire in Queens, New York, killed 2 adults and a child, leaving several others injured as strong winds helped spread the flames rapidly. Lawmakers in Minnesota are considering a bill to ban warrants allowing police to collect data from devices near crime scenes, citing privacy concerns. Utah author Corey Richins has been found guilty of murdering her husband with a poisoned drink, in a case prosecutors described as financially motivated. Here's everything.
So it's a lot. And let me stop sharing my screen. It's a lot. And I do want to get into some of these things because it's important. Let's talk about Cuba. That's important. But first, we're going to keep it light. We're going to leave the heavy stuff back there for a minute. All right. Let's keep it light and fun here. Let's start with what's happening around the world. Now, like I said, there is still tension building between the U.S. and Iran and other global powers. And it's something that we need to watch very closely, but I don't want us to become consumed in it. That's why I said, let's talk about this later on. So right now, I want to talk about this media takeover because I think it's very important, especially if you are a creative, if you are someone who is trying to get into podcasting or you are podcasting, music, artists. This is very important. Now, one of the biggest stories, and a lot of people aren't talking about it, I think one of the reasons why a lot of people are not talking about this is because for the most part, unless you're in the industry, it's kind of irrelevant because a lot of people, once you grow up, you kind of get your way of how you consume the news, right? So when I was younger, I didn't watch the news, but as I got older, I started watching like Channel 2, which is NBC here in Buffalo, and the Today Show. But then I ventured over to where Gayle King was. That was the way that I consumed my information. Many more people are consuming their information in different ways. Like I just legit played a TikTok post from the Daily Plug USA, which gave you a spiel of what's going on in this world in less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. Think about how long it takes you to watch the news on a daily basis. Most of us, like I'll get up at 7:00 in the morning and put the news on and I'm watching it until 9. And they're giving me the same information that the Daily Plug just gave me in less than 5 minutes, y'all. We're looking at major media consolidations, companies like Paramount. I talked about it yesterday actually, you can watch the show that I posted today on the Vet Green Show. I talked about Paramount and how Tyler Perry, sold 25% stakes in BET Plus to Paramount. I think that it was a strategic move. I do. I think that if you are a business person, you're going to have to need capital. What better way to raise capital than to sell off some of your shares? It's done all the time. I don't think he's selling out. I just don't. Companies like Paramount, they're moving towards merging with giants like Warner Brothers, y'all. And this is not just about the movies. This really is about control. Who's controlling what we see every day? The control is going to be over the news, the entertainment, streaming, information. The information that we receive now, it may be tailored to make us feel or believe a certain way. There's going to be bias in it, possibly. Because again, who's controlling this information? Of course, no one's going to want anything bad talked about them, right? So if you have someone like who was that bought the Washington Post? the owner of Amazon, y'all. And forgive me, my mind is just going blank right now. But a lot of, again, the reasons why this is happening is because of control and power. The fewer companies that own everything, the fewer voices. That's the wonderful thing about being over here on YouTube, is that you pretty much, it's kind of the wild, wild west, even though you can, there's some things with it as well, but you aren't constrained or restricted to speak in a certain kind of way like you are on the major news networks. You look at shows like Jennifer Hudson, and I love Jennifer Hudson. I think she's one of the most talented singers out there, but you're watching her show and it's kind of produced a certain way. One of the great things that I love is that, like that going down the hallway, like that's so Jennifer. The other parts of the show, I don't know. That's more of her personality to me. And let me say something that's probably going to make people feel uncomfortable. When a small group controls the media, y'all, they control what you see. They control what we are able to see. When you have a small group, and of course, if you are controlling the type of information that's being put out there, are you going to talk about the things that you are doing that may not be right? No, you're not. You're not. So this isn't just business. This really is influence, y'all. Now let's get into this music. I was surprised, like the Pussycat Dolls are coming back. BTS is back. If you don't know, BTS is a K-pop group, and I believe it's South Korea. They have to go. Everyone has to go into the service for at least 2 years, and they're back and they're taking a major return. New music, documentaries, live events. And if you know anything about BTS, they're global. I remember hearing BTS. I had to talk to my daughter about it. I was like, I remember y'all telling me that this group had to go into the service because it's a requirement that you have to go for 2 years. What do y'all think about that? This is a mandatory national service requirement. South Korea law generally requires men to enlist by the age of 28. The BTS law. So what happened in 2020, the South Korean, and you can look at this on Google or anything. So what happened in 2020, the South Korean National Assembly passed a revision to the Military Service Act because they kept postponing it. So now what happens is it allows like cultural icons who have received government medals to postpone their service until the age of 30. What do y'all think about that? What if you lived in a nation that had a requirement that you enlist in the service? I don't know how I feel about that, y'all. I mean, on one hand, you can see it being a good thing because you do get experience and all of that. But what if you're in war? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. And what do y'all think about K-pop? Like this, it has grown so huge over the last 10 years. I really think it's a wonderful thing that we are able to globally influence each other and mix that culture together. I think it's so wonderful. There's a song that one of my nephews here has with someone over in Africa, and I swear this song is so phenomenal. Rose Gold Rails. It's just like the melody of the song and the hook of the song, and then against the rap, and it's one of my most favorite songs that I know I have it in my thing. Why can't I think of the name of that song? Lord. And it's one of my favorite ones, y'all. Anywho, it's not Fly Away. That's the name of the song. I think it's Fly Away by Rose Gold Rails. Anywho, yeah, so music is definitely changing. Now, TikTok is now stepping into radio. TikTok is now stepping into radio and podcasting. What TikTok is trying to do, y'all, let me get it, because I thought this story was interesting, what they are trying to do. Because, y'all, if TikTok is stepping into radio, because right now, Back in the days, remember hearing the stories of how like J. Cole stood outside of Jay-Z's business for about a year or two with his CDs just to get Jay-Z to listen to him. Remember that, y'all? Remember hearing those stories about how people would have to pay DJs on these radio stations just to play their music? Well, now you really can bypass DJs at times, and you can go right to TikTok, and you can literally blow up from TikTok, which is why it makes sense for them to get into radio and podcasting, because a lot of the eyes are over on TikTok. Now, my question is, how are they going to do this? How are y'all going to get all of this? Because one, for me, TikTok has become like a haven for sales. Like it's just a store for me. And this might be just my algorithm, y'all. Okay, I might be talking too much and telling on myself that I like to not window shop. I like to digitally shop, place things in my cart. So what's going on is like I just said, I showed y'all that clip for a reason of the Daily Plug USA, because that was a short clip, and that's how people are absorbing their information. No longer do you need to sit and watch shows like, you know, the Today Show or Good Morning America for 2-3 hours just to figure out what's going on in this world. You can literally go on social media and find out what's going on. So content is becoming shorter, faster, and more interactive. You can talk to the people. As a creator, that is one of the things that I love about going live, is being able to interact with the people as they are watching the show live, ask questions. It says pause because I'm not using the app. Ask questions. I love to do that. Tech companies equal media companies now. We're not just watching content anymore, y'all. We are quickly becoming a part of it. When we are as creators, when we are placing content on Facebook and YouTube, we can interact with those people. We can interact with the people who enjoy our content right away, which I think is phenomenal, because if you are interacting with the Vet Green Show, thank you so much. Like seriously, y'all, thank you so much, because I'm putting my heart into it, but I also want to make sure that it's relevant to something that people want to actually talk about. So when you have that and you have people interacting, that's something that regular television does not have right now. I watch Zeus Network because I love baddies. I've been watching Natalie and Tanisha since they were over on, what was it, the Bad Girls Club? And I've been slowly watching Natalie maneuver her way through this new life. And I have some, I want to sit down and have a conversation with Natalie Nunn. I really do, because I love her business sense. And I'm glad that finally the show is changing a little bit, because each season I was like, man, I didn't understand how, as the CEO, you shouldn't be in the midst of doing the same thing these girls are. They're supposed to respect you. And I did not see the respect there, especially with Diamond the Body, like right off the rack. And I understand it, because don't play with me. Don't play with me. Then you're going to lose my respect. But at the same time, as the CEO, I'm glad that right now she's transitioning. And what I hope is going to happen is that, she let some of those girls that's been in there with them girls actually take over. I think Roly has done a wonderful, phenomenal job at what she does and making sure that those girls are okay. Just talking with them, just making sure that they know that somebody's still there with them as they're questioning, where's Natalie? I think that it's been far too long. This should have happened a while ago. I'm glad it's happening now, because everything is a process. But, Natalie, you don't need to be out there fighting and stuff. Like, that didn't even look right. And you snuck that girl. Like, I don't like that type of stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. That didn't even look right. Especially as the CEO. Just, girl, don't. So again, y'all, this is not just entertainment. This is influence. And I think it's phenomenal what Lemmy is doing over there on Zeus Network. Like, man, heck to the yeah. That is the goal right there. I know the content may not be for everybody, but y'all cannot take away what they are doing over there. Those are paid subscriptions on their platform. Yeah. So I just think that y'all, over the next 2 years, I'm ready to see what it looks like as far as AI, as far as technology, as far as like the job creations, because although we talked about those job losses, it's also, we cannot forget that there's also going to be job creations. There's going to be more jobs. This time, the jobs are going to include, you have to know how to use AI, because that's where a lot of these companies, and AI could mean that robot going around.
Michael Murray, FaceTime video.
Yeah, stop this.